Okay, let me share my screen. We have what are these activities and how do we use these activities? I'll tell you. See, we have a requirement, okay? Requirement to move the data, okay? Copy the data from one place to another place. Okay, then what we do? We do develop this based on the uh, requirement. How? See, this is the one of the typical example. Here, what it is doing, this all setup is what we are calling as pipelines. Set of pipelines, we will have it in Azure Data Factory. See, this typical pipeline, what it is doing, it is reading the data from CSV file, okay, and it is writing into SQL Server table. See how the setup is. This simple diagram is teaching us everything. Okay, what have we have learned so far? See what it is saying. Blob storage is a service. Data Factory is a service. SQL Server is a service. To to establish a connection between different services, what do we need? We need a linked service. To establish a link between different services, we need a linked service. See, here is a linked service. What I told, linked service is a key exchange mechanism, authentication mechanism. Whether we are allowed to do the operations on that service or not, this linked service will tell us. See, here we are connecting to blob storage from Data Factory. So there is a linked service. And again, we are connecting to SQL Server. There is a linked service. After linked service, what we have created? We have created the data sets. Okay, data sets we have created. Here also, in the source side also, in the destination side also. Okay, after that, after creation of data set, what we have to do? We need to do an activity. Activity in the sense operations. What are the operations we supposed to do? That thing, what we call it as an activity. This part we already discussed this part, okay, and linked service part and data set part, and then we are going to learn about these activities. What we can directly we don't always directly copy the data from source to sync directly. Sometimes we may need to do some transformations. Okay, sometimes we may need to do some conditional based data reading. Suppose there are two files. We need to load the file A first and then file B. There are some constraints kind of things that we need to see. Okay, this entire setup, what we call it as a pipeline. This single diagram, if you want, you take a snap from your mobile and see. This simple diagram tells us entire idea. Scenario may be different, but the thing is same. Now, see, as I discussed, we are going to see concentration on this activities part now, since we already completed these parts. And once we are done with this activities part, what do? We need to learn how do we deploy these things, how do we schedule these things, how do we monitor these things. On top of these things, there are three more additional concepts that we need to learn: monitor, deploy, and um, what is the another thing? Monitoring, deployment, and triggering. Okay, three things. Now we really jump into that development activities and we'll see what are all the different activities we have in the data factory. Okay. To make it simple, okay, we cannot directly. Most of the interview question says what I observe is they will tell us what are all the building blocks of Azure Data Factory. Because if we can explain that building blocks of Azure Data Factory, explaining this building blocks of Data Factory is what? Linked services, data sets, activities, pipelines, and triggers. See the simple diagram, building blocks up. So that means, which means what? We already know all the components, whatever we use in the pipeline development. That is the intention of the that question. What are the different, what are the building blocks of Azure Data Factory? And then what are all the activities you have used so far in your project? Okay, what are all the activities you have used? So to make it simpler, I have categorized into this these things. Okay, categorized into four categories. Four categories is data movement. If I am doing only data movement, I don't need any transformations. I just use copy data. Copy data. Copy data activity comes under data movement. Okay, simple data movements. So I don't want to move it simply. I need some transformations in between. So I need to modify the content from the table A, content of the table A or file system, and then I need to move it into the destination. In such scenarios, I need to use these things. Data flow activity I have, stored procedure activity I have, script activity I have. Okay, data flow activity means there are different setup. Data flow activity is itself is having there are 10 plus type of operations in it. Okay, and then we have stored procedure activity. What is stored procedure activity? Stored procedure, inside stored procedure we can write anything, right? In the stored procedure we can write any SQL scripts or anything. Script activity. Okay, script activity and stored procedure activity both look same. Okay, both looks 90% looks same. What is the difference is script activity is just as SQL statements, but we can call stored procedure as well here, transformations. And then we move on to control flow. Control flow activities. Control flow activities, these are all the different set of control flow activities. Okay, iteration activities. Control flow in the sense it will be a part of our flow. Okay, in between our flow. And here iteration activities. Iteration activities is what? Iteration. What is iteration? Iteration means it will execute number of times. Here is the simple trick. Okay. I'm preparing these notes to you so that you can easily remember. Uh, yes, see this. Data movement means moving the data. Transformations means we need, if we need any transformations, we need transform steps. Control flow, make the decision. Control flow means make the decision. If this is a true, you do this thing. If this is a false, you do this thing. If it is satisfied, you do this kind of things. Iteration means repeating a number of times. See, if you learn these things, since since telling this is a tool, we need to learn the properties. Okay, if it is a coding, we need to write the properties, we need to set the properties for that particular thing. But this is what, this is a um, tool, so we need to learn what are all the different options available and what are all the uh, uh, options we need to set while we are doing a development. That is what we are going to learn. This is a high level. Okay. Now we just simply jump copy activity. We will see at the end. Okay. At the end. And now we will look into these things, copy activity and store procedure, and this also we'll see. See control flow. We are going to see now control flow. Inside control flow, we are going to see set variable, a very basic operation, setting a variable. How do we set a variable? Okay. This looks very easy. Okay, this looks very easy, but in the real time, right, this is very crucial. Set variable is very crucial. Even though this looks very simple, there is a lot of learning in it. I'll tell you what. Last time I was not able to create a data set because I said like I was not I have not paid that last month bill. Okay, and now I have paid the bill, and then now I am able to do it. See, if you want to see, there should be a subscription, right? ADF classes for subscription. Why is this subscription? Subscription only we will be able to pay the bill. Okay, there is a monthly invoice will be generated. Based on the invoice, we need to pay. See, for my last month bill is 333 rupees. Okay, and there is one more invoice generated, that zero bill. Now I paid this thing. That's why I'm able to continue the work. If you want to see this part, you go and see billing profiles and invoices. Since I am doing practicing with, I'm teaching you with simple files. I'm not getting much bill. So if you don't, even also you also take the pay as you go subscription and practice. Okay, with simple files. It won't cost you more than 1,000 rupees. But if you take the large files and Databricks activities and all, right, the cost will go like anywhere. Okay. See, I'm going to use this one. Plan Studio. See, same in real time also same. We go to Azure portal, we go to actually in the real time, there should be resource groups. Resource groups. Our resource group is what? RG ADF classes is our resource group, which is under this subscription. Okay, what is the hierarchy? What is the hierarchy? First level, Azure subscription, and then resource group, and then resources. See resource group. I just added a resource group. Here also see resources. Here is resources under this resource group. Even though if we add the resource group, see these are all coming here because in this resource group I have added all these services. So if you join in a project, I can give you the access to resource group level so that you will be able to access everything in it. You don't need to have an access for each and every independent things. Likewise, so if you think this is a development phase, and one more resource group is for testing, and one more group is for production. Likewise, they will create resource groups. Okay, try to memorize these words, resource groups, because they will give an access. You don't have an access when you join the project. What you need to tell, I don't have an access. First, you go to portal.azure.com and see. If you have an access, it will directly show resource groups over there. If you see the resource group, so that you can access the resources. If you don't have, what we need to do, you need to ask, I don't have access, like that. Now I have an access. I am going inside. See, like I have clicked this one. I'm launching the studio. Okay, see here, uh, these are all the pipelines I have created since beginning. Okay, in my previous batches also, this batches also. In a real-time project, how it look like, these projects, these pipelines are categorized into folders. There should be some business, right? Each business is having set of pipelines, set of operations. So we will categorize, we will differentiate by using this folders. So I batch 04, new folder, batch 03. See, how do we move? You see, we can click here and we can move the items to batch 03. We can simply drag and drop over there also. During your practice also, do all these things, okay? Because you will be habituated when you go to the real time project, right? You don't feel like it is a new thing for me. Done. 12 pipelines, which is under as part of I have created as part of batch 3 and batch 4. I'll create new. So the how will I create in the batch 3? Here I clear new pipeline. Take the subscription. Okay. take the subscription and practice as many as possible. At least if you can create 50 pipelines, it means that you will have a 3 years of experience. That means that many scenarios. This ADF is a simple service and powerful service. Okay, mostly used service. Set where PL underscore. Whenever I am creating pipeline, I am prefixing with PL. Okay, don't give names like whatever you wish. And passwords also, when you are setting passwords, there should be some meaning to it. They simply don't like our personal names and something something. If you are using a password for Azure service, I mean like this service, give this meaningful name like this service and some prefixes like that. Okay. And data sets, right? Whatever the data sets I created, I have given a DS. Okay. And don't give like Azure SRC, blob, something, something. Okay. There should be a service prefix, and then the service, this activity name prefix like that. Okay. PL underscore set variable for patch 0. Like this. Okay, this is a canvas area. See, whenever we create a new pipeline, we are going to get see the different options. This is a menu option, different menu. This is a home tab and tab options. Here, why I am telling this? Even sometimes, right, we will get confusions. Sometimes, if we are in somewhere and we don't, you are not able to see this activity section, not able to see this pipeline section. See here. Yeah, this office laptops with very minimal screen, right? This is very difficult for us to navigate. So we need to know where it is, where it resides, so that we can directly jump into it and we can open this. We will see no issues. Okay, see, very first we will be able to see pipeline section and pipelines and activities. Okay, and data flows, data sets. Here it is, and then activity. Activity will visible only when we click on the pipeline, any pipeline. Okay, where do we place these activities? Only inside that pipeline, right? That's why only if we create an activity, if we create a pipeline, then only this activity tab will appear. See, it is not appearing now because I selected dataset. Okay, when it will appear only when we create, when we select on the pipeline. Okay, see, I have done something wrong. Okay, now my data factory is not connected to GitHub. Okay, it is if you don't connect to GitHub, what we call this as a live mode, data factory with live mode. Okay, suppose if we connect in the live mode, we will get publish option. Okay, whenever we do any changes, we will get publish option. But in when the data factory is connected to GitHub, GitHub in the sense that is a repository. Okay, we will keep all the changes in the GitHub service, so that if there is any something wrong inside a data factory, we can go to the previous versions. Now my data factory is not connected to GitHub. That's why I will be able to see publish option. Suppose if my data factory is connected to GitHub, I'll be able to see save option. Okay, save option, saving to GitHub. That is the one thing. In lower environments, development and integration, our data factory is connected to GitHub. But in the production, our data factory connection is not required, because there we don't do any changes. We will just deploy. Production, we are not supposed to do any changes, right? If there is any wrong happen there, we will develop it in the dev environments. We will fix it, and then we will move to production. Production version will not be attached to GitHub. Lower versions will be attaching to GitHub. Okay, see, I have created a pipeline so that I will be able to see these activities. Inside these activities, I have categorized this. See, there are so many Azure, Batch, Databricks, and all the HD instances. We are since we are for normal development, we don't use it. Okay, 95% we don't use other things. This HD Insight, machine learning, Power Query, and Azure functions. Rare cases, Synapse and all. Whatever we are using, 95% I have given. Okay, here, whatever I have mentioned here, you should not be skip any of the thing. If you learn these things, that means you have 90% of these activities. As I told you, in the data flow, data movement we are doing using with data transformation, data flow, there are further categories that we are going to see. Okay. Now I am going to set a variable. Okay. Is there any activity? Yes. Set variable activity. Simple, basic thing. This entire week we are going to discuss about these activities. From next week onwards, okay, we are going to focus on this copy activity in the real-time use cases. How many ways we can use the copy activities and the real-time, how that pipelines are looking like. And we are going to see 2, 3 production scenarios, real-time production scenarios. I'll try to cover 3. And then after that, we are going to see this what monitoring, triggering, and all these options. See set variable activity. So first thing, whenever you are working on any activity, you give a name. Set name. This activity name is called set name. Okay, see here. What it is expecting? It is expecting some name. Name in the sense, okay, what this activity do? This activity uh, set variable. If there is any variable, if you want to try to set some value, we can use this thing. Okay, in real time use cases, where do we use? Um, there is a that you will be understand. Okay, see, I'm doing one suppose one date column. Okay, if I want to start my pipeline, okay, I need that date. In such scenarios, what I will do, I will store that date in the database. Before I start this actual execution of the pipeline, I need to fetch that date and I need to start. In such scenarios, I'll use one more activity called lookup activity. I'll use that lookup activity, I'll fetch that date and I'll assign it to some variable so that I can use this variable wherever it is required in the further steps in the pipeline. In such cases, we will use this set variable. Set variable is simple, it's just to set the variable. Okay, before that, I need some variable. See, if you click on the any activity, you will see the properties and options related to this activity. If you click on the blank canvas, you will see the general settings. Here, there is a variable. If you want, you can create a variable. See here, variable and data type. Don't leave this data type section without setting any data type because we have developed something. Okay, in my previous project, we have done the development, and at the last, we have done some hotfix to all the pipelines. Around 50 plus pipelines, we have done the hotfix. Okay, we have given the code to developers, and they have attached that codes to existing pipeline, and we did not test the things, and we directly deployed to production. Okay, we assume that it was working, but what happened, because of this data type here, we set it to string and we are receiving it in a integer value. So it got failed. All the pipelines got failed in production. There was a big escalation. So what we need to do, whenever we create any variable, directly it will point into string. If you are not supposed to you show the string value, you need to set it manually. Okay, if it should be boolean, array, integer, you need to set. Depends on the value it is stored. Okay, I have created one variable and I'm going to set the value for the variable. How many ways I can see? I'm clicking this one. Which variable? Variable type. See, whenever you want to know any further properties of that any activity, you can hover it here. See, it will tell us. Okay, I have a variable name. I want to set this thing. See value. How you are going to set this variable? Here I can fix it. I can hard code it, or else I can do one thing. Pipeline start date. I'm going to pipeline start time. Okay. I'm going to set pipeline start date here so that I can use in the further execution. So pipeline started. I'm setting. Here I can set it manually, or I can do, see here, add dynamic content. For any activity, you will be able to see this dynamic content. Click on here. What are all the different options available here? If there is any parameter, you can use it. If there is any system variables, we will use it. We will use this section. System variables, we very frequent, we will use it. The system variables, what are all the different values we are storing? See, data factory name, pipeline name. We will list all. Don't assume like we are only learning set variable. Okay, we are learning multiple things here. Some generic variables, generic things. So if you want to make a copy, just copy paste. Here I mentioned start time here. Here also it should be like the pipeline start time. Data factory name. Pipeline triggered by pipeline run ID, pipeline name, trigger type, manual schedule, trigger time, trigger name. Functions and variables, we will use it later. As of now, system variables only we have. Pipeline name, data factory name, start date time 10, pipeline name. Pipeline. Okay, how I am setting? See, we do the same in real time also. Okay, whenever we require like this kind of thing. Start date and time. See, go to system variables. Here, trigger time and date. There should be one property. Trigger time. Pipeline trigger time, which means pipeline execution start time. Okay. Next, data factory name. Next, pipeline. Validate it. Validate no errors. Publish. There are 13 changes because in the beginning of this class, I have moved all the content into this folder, right? That's why some batch wise I moved these pipelines. So this all the changes it is showing. Publish all. See this one. Publish. These are all the things, right? You also have to do in your own so that you don't feel like something is different in production systems. Okay. Here is a careful observation. One of the careful observation. Okay. See, I have placed all these three activities side by side. What it means? It means all will run independently. Okay. The start time should be same. Okay. No, I don't want to do like this. In real time, there is some dependencies. You need it, something need to be done first and something need to be done second and something need to be done at the end. Okay. So in such cases, how do we define the dependency? Okay. There are certain options here. If you hover on any activity, you will be able to see on skip, okay, on success, on failure, on completion. There are certain options. Okay, suppose if this fail, I don't want to continue this one. Okay. Then I will give on success of this one. Okay. Here also same. What if it is only if the activity one is success, then go to second activity. If it fails, our pipeline will fail. Entire pipeline will fail. And one more option on skip. Okay, if it is skipped, continue to this one. If it is failed, only if it failed, continue this one. This one when we will use, we will send a mail. Okay, mail alert to the production support team. Suppose if this activity is failed, we will use this constraint on failed to send an email. We will write one more custom logic to send an email and we will map here. Support if it failed, it will come to here and it will send an email. See this one on completion. There is almost similar on success and on completion. Okay, what is the difference? Success is only if it is completed successfully. Completion is just even if it failed or success or fail, it doesn't care. If it is completed execution, it will flow this way. So in real time, what we will do on success flow only we will go, because if it is success only, we will go to next thing. Suppose I did not give anything, any constants. What happened? All these things execute start at same time. Okay. This is the most important observation, because sometimes we load the data from one place to another place for certain files. If we take 10 files, in such scenarios, file 1, file 2, file 3, we don't give like this. All we will give in a parallel way. Parallel way, if we give, what happens? Suppose if each file is taking 10 minutes, only the 10th file will start only after 90 minutes. Okay, 90 minutes will be wasted to reach to 10th file. But I don't want to wait that much time. I want to execute all the components within the 10 minutes time frame. Then I'll give it like this. There is no dependency. I'll keep this activities side by side so that all execution will start at the same time and will complete at the almost same time. This is most important observation. Okay, you no need to always map to activity one and activity two. Okay, now let me execute this one and try to see their output. Debug. Okay, just click on debug. You can do add trigger as well. Since we are in development, I prefer to choose debug. Okay, all done at same. See, all started at same time. What is the see? This understanding this output is very important for us to fix the issues. How? See, this is the input. This is the pipeline runtime. This is the variable, and this is the pipeline. This is the output. What output? Sorry, I think we have mapped incorrectly. Pipeline name, we are setting it to pipeline start time. Okay, this is how we can identify and we can fix. See here, start date and time. What is the input? Pipeline start date and time. Correct. Data factory name. ADF data factory classes. Now come here, pipeline name. Which one is okay for the pipeline name? Settings. Pipeline name. Okay, pipeline name. Okay, pipeline name, variable name. We are setting it to the okay. All we are setting into the single variable. See, it is overwriting. Only one variable. We are setting it into three values. What it happen? It will override. So we need to create three variables. For now, since we are not using in next step, it is fine. But this is the observation. This is how we need to observe. Variable, this variable, we are setting this value. Okay, this value we will get only after the pipeline execution. This is the output tab, input section, output section. Okay, this is what the pipeline status is. Pipeline status is success. Okay, we have 2 more minutes. This is a refresh. Suppose there is a lengthy pipeline executing. Okay, in between, it was stuck somewhere. It is not reflected, so we can refresh it. Okay, you try to please this activity, today's activity, you try to do, and don't skip any part and try to observe all the options. Okay, this understanding in every minute point will help us when we are fixing the production issues. We need to know each and every property of that activity, then only we can fix something. Because we are not writing the code, rather we are setting the options. Okay, this is how it look like set variable. There are certain common items also we discussed here. Right? How do we debug this pipeline, this entire pipeline? Okay, how do we see that output section? What are all the different options available? These things. Okay, in between what happened? I wrongly created one variable name. I'm referencing this variable name further. What happened? That variable won't get any value since I have referred wrongly. In such scenarios, I'll come here. I'll see. Okay, I mentioned start time, but I have mentioned pipeline name. This is wrong. I need to create one more variable for this start time. I'll create it and I'll use it. Likewise, we need to debug. This is for today, team. Today, whatever I have discussed, you please practice and send me some screenshots so that we can continue tomorrow. This understanding is very much important. Okay, ping me if you stuck anywhere or if you need any further information. That's all for today. Thank you. From tomorrow, we will have an extended sessions like I said earlier, right?